But if you think it's bad for you, how do you think your furry friend feels? And I'm not talking about any partners you may have that mightn't have shaved. No. We're talking about the animals in your life.
Here too with advice on introducing your pet to a new family member is vet Dr. Bobby Cortez, who's been putting all of his advice to good use since the arrival of his newborn baby daughter, Leah.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't got out to her yet.
She's beautiful.
Oh, look!
She's an absolute gorgeous creature.
Is she good? How are you finding it all good?
She's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
And how is your other baby doing since the arrival of Leah, though?
Actually, he's been doing very, very good. I think we actually for once, put a bit of my own advice to use at home.
Good.
And started really early, getting him used to a few things as we knew that she was coming. Getting used to even crying baby sounds and maybe some small adjustments of him not sleeping in the bedroom, sleeping in the kitchen area, and even getting the pram out and getting him used to kind of walking alongside the pram.
Yeah.
So Dr. Bobby has a dog at home.
I know that. He brought him in.
Yeah,
the first time he came in.
Just in case you didn't know.
So it's a really big adjustment. I know for us, for our in-laws, so for my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, they had our Mitchell, and unfortunately we lost him last week. But he was 7 years, obviously 7 years with us. But from the minute that Oisín was going to be born, it was all about having a teddy for Mitch and a teddy for Oisín and a pram. And in fairness, they ended up just side by side and became, and Hannah's arrival, he was a lot more chilled out. But it is a big adjustment for everybody involved, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you're very focused on your number one baby being the pet in your house.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a big transition. I think especially cats, but dogs as well, are so routine oriented, so they're so used to waking up, being fed at a certain time, going on a walk, you go to work, you come back, all that, and a baby comes in that needs to be fed every 2, or if you're lucky, 4 hours. That's being fed, up, crying, all that stuff. The routine completely gets turned upside down. So there's lots and lots of different changes, not just the, we kind of think of the crying sounds.
Yeah, so there's a difference between how dogs and cats would adjust. First of all, we've got 2 brothers here.
Yes,
one's in a cage and one's sitting on your lap, Carl and Lenny.
Yes.
And tell us about cats particularly first, as we have them here. What you do if you have a cat who's the centre of your life until this point?
Yeah, I find most cat owners, that tends to be their cat is the center of their life, and so that's a big adjustment. I'd say cats, even more than dogs, are really, really routine, as we said, oriented, and also I think approaching cats versus dogs is very different. They react to things very differently, and they're able to get into higher spots. So that's another concern that we have to take in, is that you have a nursery, you have a pram, you have the bassinets, and you're worried about the cats jumping into that. So setting up everything earlier, getting them used to, adjusted to it, and also allowing cats to kind of investigate the room and getting used to that ahead of time. And then a big thing as well is also setting strict limits. So making sure they know where areas they're not supposed to go and where off limit. And one good technique as well is double-sided sticky tape. Cats hate walking on sticky things. So what you can do is, if you have a piece of cardboard, you can put a bit of sticky tape on that. And if you don't want them to go on the bassinet or the changing table, early on, put that on, and when they start to go walk up, they realize it's sticky and they'll stay away from that area.
It's a bit of concern.
Yes, you agree.
I just agree with concerns sometimes with cats and pregnant people as well, isn't there? When it comes to certain conditions, you can toxoplasmosis.
Yes, absolutely. So it is something that we would deal with quite often, obviously on the animal side, not the human side, but it is something that it really comes down to pregnant women who are first-time cat owners, and it's usually a benign parasite that cats can pick up and sheds in their feces. So the big thing I would say is for any pregnant women to stop changing the litter trays. So that comes down to the partner to take care of that during the whole time, and then also to reach out to their GP. And there is tests that can be done to make sure that they already have it, or if they do test, that it can be treated, but as long as it's caught early.
And when it comes to scent and cats as well, you do have to be a bit careful there. So there's ways of introducing the familiarity there. Bring us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same for dogs as well. It's a really good technique. I was very lucky that I was able to come home and was able to introduce Bodhi to some smells from Leah. So we brought some baby grows and vests and different things home. But really, really important for cats as well. I think they sometimes get forgotten about that, but leaving those baby smells, a chance for them to get introduced to the smell before the baby comes in, and knowing that it's just a vest, nothing's wrong there, and then the baby can kind of be introduced later.
Could they be like, obviously, because you're going from your animal being the centre of your earth, your cat or your dog, so they're going to have jealousy, aren't they? Because like, if all attention is on them, and as you said, there's feeding involved, so you can put in things in place other in terms of smells and make sure that everything is safe-wise, but then how do you support your animal in that transition? Like,
I think a lot of people do run into that, in that, you know, obviously even for ourselves, our dog was our world, you know,
dogs are needier than cats as well. My God, I know that I had one for eight long days and never again. And yes, Prince, I'm talking about you, Lillian. I'm never doing it again as long as I live. But yes, they are quite needy compared to cats.
Absolutely.
So there's a different set of rules, is there, for dogs and cats?
I think just getting them used to, I don't know if I fully say different set, but I think getting them used to not being the centre of attention. You know, they do kind of say, stop paying as much attention to them before the baby comes, so they're used to. I think that's really difficult for all of us. But I would say on the opposite side of that is that try not to forget about them. You know, I know obviously the baby is going to take the full focus it has for us, but really do everything you can to make sure that they're still getting attention, you know, they're still getting time and affection, even though it might not be as much, you know, as for your dogs. They're still getting out walked or thrown the ball. And then there also is other options, especially for dogs, like dog walkers or even doggy daycare, you know, if you really feel bogged down and you can't get... Oh, you agree as well. There is catty daycare, I'm sure, somewhere.
But it is one of those things, because I suppose the transition of the baby arriving into the house, and again, it's upheaval again for cats and for dogs and for your pets, that when the baby arrives, you've gone through all of that and then you're falling into a new routine. It's like, do you find that pet owners struggle a lot, Dr. Bobby? Do you think that, like, because you've gone from something being so all-consuming to a big, you know, it's a change, like having a baby in the house is consuming that. Are you noticing that when people come in, that they, like, I mean, you guys, like, how are you finding it?
Absolutely. It's not, well, completely own up, it's not easy, you know. Obviously, for my wife Aura, you know, taking on a huge responsibility with already a huge, you know, dogs and cats are massive responsibilities. So I do think, you know, to get a dog or cat, you really have to make sure that you're ready to take that on, especially if you're planning to have a baby or have your family grow and having people over. You know, even for that aspect, you need to make sure that you're ready to take that on. So there's a lot of aspects, and I think I do get a good number of people that have come in, you know, asking for questions, you know, asking about questions about behavior adjustments and things like that. And they're actually a great, you know, specific animal behavioralist that will come to your house, address a lot of those questions as well. That, you know, again, as vets, we're more dealing with the medical sickness and kind of treatments and stuff, but also we're directing them to the people that, you know, to help them get the help they need for their pets.
And I mean, it might seem obvious, but obviously you should never leave a baby alone with any pet, because the aforementioned jealousy, and sometimes we've seen over the years some tragic stories at the end, because jealousy does happen, and the baby can be treated as the enemy.
Yeah, I think 100%. I mean, even for us introducing, even though I know Bodhi, our pup, is so, you know, so gentle and has been so gentle with Leah, we still, you know, never know. I would never leave, you know, unsupervised. That's a big thing, is to never leave the baby unsupervised, never leave the baby on the floor, where the cat or dog can get. Always be holding your baby, introducing them to your animals at home. I think a big thing as well is we also kind of think, and I've probably seen loads of really cute videos online of people, you know, their baby sitting next to their dog,
snuggling their dog,
pulling on the ears, all that stuff, and they kind of think it's cute. And to be honest, you know, I would look at that and see a very stressed dog that, you know, thankfully doesn't turn around to bite, but, you know, might exactly.
And tell me about Carl and Lenny now, because they're up for adoption, as so many of the creatures you bring into us are. And he's lovely, and he's very friendly, and he's only a kitten.
He is. They're only about 10 weeks.
Lucky he's alive.
Yeah, so unfortunately, these two brothers, Carl and Lenny, were found with their mom in a parking lot being abused by someone. So they were rescued, luckily, and they're brought in, luckily, no real harm. The woman who found them came back and adopted Carl and Lenny's mom, and we've had the two of them for the last couple of weeks in our clinic, and have been looking for a forever home, ideally for the two of them to go together, because they're so well bonded and they get on so well, and you can see they're so socialized, and he's been purring the entire time he's been on.
I'm slightly terrified of cats, so but they've been quite the dream.
Cats are great.
We had a whole conversation over there a few minutes ago whether I was going to jump on or not, but in fairness, they have. I really hope they find a forever home. I really do.
Oh, thank you.
And they can get in touch with you guys to see if it suits.
Yeah, even through Rahini Vets as well. That's where they're located now.
And of course, you can follow Dr. Bobby on Instagram by searching at Dr. Bob _Bob.
After the break, we're back on the catwalk. We'll see you soon.